Edmond Tapsoba, probably, Josh, if you agree with me, probably the talk of the day, the transfer of the day, after, maybe Max Kilman's has been quieting down slightly. We've upped our game to fight to try sign Edmond Tapsoba. Brilliant defender. Left central centre back. I'm pretty sure he plays as a three in a defence. Um, honestly, I was just looking at some of his games. He was incredible. He honestly is incredible. He's yeah. What have you got to say about Tapsoba? Yeah.
I really like this signing if it gets over the line. I think he brings a lot of what we need. So Fabrizio has obviously said that we started concrete contacts to be informed on him. He's been on the list for a long time, and he's keen on the move, which I think is really important. I really think this summer that we need players that want to be at the club and don't feel like they're doing us a favour. I feel like
Yeah.
even when we had Conte at the club, Mourinho at the club, I'm sick of people coming to Tottenham and acting like they're doing us a favour by being there. I really want players and a manager that wants to be at the club. Now, Tapsoba, in terms of his
Yeah.
profile, fantastic. Like right-footed, which I know everyone's dying for a left-footed centre-back, and I remember the court's
Right.
the
That's the only
dream.
questionable act.
I get that. But he does mainly play on the left side of a back four out of possession for Leverkusen, and he has played across every position of the back three for Leverkusen previously. His
Yeah.
progressive passes are 5.7 per 90, progressive carries 1.4 per 90, which is some of the best in Europe in his position, 94th percentile for successful take-ons. He's fantastic in his one-on-one duels because his physical attributes are immense, which is something we're massively lacking with players like Eric Dyer and Davinson
Yeah.
Sanchez. He would complement Mero beautifully in the back four, I feel.
I think Tapsoba is a type of player that will fit perfectly into Tottenham Hotspur, and more specifically Ange Postecoglou's system. I think he would have definitely suited Conte more than, in my opinion, more than this current team with Ange. Well, we still haven't seen, but I think with Conte it would have been immense. Although he hasn't, signed for Tottenham Hotspur, I think this is a deal that we could look like it will go through. Obviously, so Tottenham Hotspur are negotiating in terms of the agreement for both the player and by the as they look to conclude the transfer. So both sides are happy with what's going on. I think this transfer will go over the line. I think one important attribute to look at is the fact that he is incredible at intercepting the ball, and not in a bad way about not caring where the ball goes. It's more specifically just getting the ball out the line. It's not like when you get Eric Dyer or Lenglet, when they get the ball, they intercept the ball. Fair enough, they might intercept the ball, but then they do little passes at the back where maybe for Ange Postecoglou's team, when they like to play out from the back, it's good. But in the meantime, we need to get defenders that will get the ball, and it doesn't really matter in terms of a good way where the ball goes. It just needs to go up the field, because if you're 1-0 down and you're playing and messing around at the back, you don't want that. You want the ball going up the field, or collect the ball and keep composure. I think Tapsoba is a brilliant player. Interceptions, obviously, once again, I'm going to say incredible. I think the physique that you just mentioned now, especially down that left hand side of the centre backs, it's just fantastic. And yeah, and anything else to add on regarding Tapsoba?
So I think he gives us a lot of what we're missing. He crushes Eric Dyer's numbers, absolutely crushes them in terms of performance. And the only problem I'd ever see with Tapsoba possibly is aerial duel percentage is poor. And I think that's
Yeah,
something Spurs are really going to have to address next year in terms of we've got Destiny Doji and Pedro Porro playing fullback potentially, both of which Porro's defending in a back four has been tested and it's not really up to the standards that we expect right now. So, against Newcastle, he got absolutely torched in that game at fullback. And Destiny
yeah,
Doji was signed for the wing back role, but it looks like he's going to be playing in a flat back four, and we don't know what he's like in a straight up left back role. We know what he's like as a wing back. He's electric. He's one of the best prospects in Europe in the wing back position. But we don't. He's moving to a new league. He's going to have to redefine his position. And I like his recovery pace, and I think he's got the ability to become a top class fullback. But he's not been tested, so I feel like on the wings and with aerial ability, we're going to struggle next season. So I'd like to see if Postecoglou can figure that out. But at
do
the
you think
same
he will? Do you
time,
think? Do you think Postecoglou will figure it out?
I can, and hopefully, a big difference will be the goalkeeper as well. I know I don't want to have to bring it back to David Rice immediately, but we need a keeper that can come and claim crosses. I've not been confident in Lloris's ability to claim crosses. He's been punching a
Yeah,
lot, And I feel like there's other two keepers. Vicario does that as well. He seems to be someone that parries and punches a lot. And that's something that does worry me is Tottenham in the air, especially when you've got
Yeah,
teams coming up like Luton who are going to lump the ball up. It's something that Spurs struggled with last season. You've got teams that are going to try and bully you and dominate you. And while I
yeah.
think Tapsoba does solve a lot of those problems, especially if we're playing this high line, Postecoglou wants to play this really high line. He wants to squeeze opposition teams and he wants to press the life out of them and he wants to keep them in their own half. Tapsoba is going to be brilliant for that because his recovery pace as well. Eric Dyer can't play that role. Davinson Sanchez can't play that role because Davinson Sanchez
Romero
isn't
is
good off the
calm.
ball. Romero's fine. And when he's played,
Yeah,
I feel like Romero, he's had an average season by the standards he set for himself the season before. But we've got to remember that he's been playing next to Dyer and he's been playing next to Sanchez and he's been almost doing the work of two or three players this season.